Sebastian mentioned sneaking into the restricted section. Perhaps he'll have an idea. Sebastian, there you are.
I was hoping to see you. I was in the Three Broomsticks after the troll attack and saw what happened with Rookwood and Harlow.
Not many students have Victor Rookwood's attention. What was that all about?
Seems he's working with Ranrock, and Ranrock is after something I found at Gringotts.
Ranrock? And when were you at Gringotts?
Professor Fig and I ended up there after the dragon attack. It's quite the tale. Fig had this portkey.
A portkey? To Gringotts? I'm not sure I follow.
I barely follow myself, and I was there. Anyway, we ended up in an ancient vault where we found a map. That map leads to the restricted section.
You can't be serious.
Deadly serious. Professor Fig has insisted that I not tell a soul about any of this. I've probably said too much.
Understood. Your secret's safe with me. Whatever it is.
Thank you, Sebastian. You mentioned being clever enough not to get caught in the restricted section.
And I am. Meet me outside the library tonight, and tell no one.
Thank you, Sebastian. I'll meet you later.
See there? That's the door we need to reach. And those annoying prefects would love nothing more than to rat on us to Scribner, so don't let them see us. Understood?
I can be sneaky. Let's go.
Hold on now. There's a spell you should know. The Disillusionment Charm. Good for getting places you're not supposed to be. Cast it and you'll appear as little more than a trick of the light, just as long as you keep your distance and stay quiet.
You mean I'll actually be able to turn invisible?
Something like that. It's not as foolproof as a cloak, but those are expensive. And spells are free. Give it a try.
Revelio. Accio.
Quietly now. The librarian's still here. Quick, behind the bookcase.
Damn. You told me the librarian would be gone by now.
I said usually, but it'll still be all right. Do you see her desk behind me?
The key is in the drawer of that desk. Now, Here's what we're going to do. I'll create a distraction to draw her away. You focus on getting the key. I'll meet you outside of the restricted section.
You distract, I get the key. Understood.
I said I'd get you in, and I always keep my word. Trust me.
The key. Here it is.
Is someone there? Is that you, Peeves?
Oh, that one's charmed to look more useful than it is. It's fooled me twice. Never judge a tome by its cover, I say.
Revelio.
Ghost, don't let her see you. Should be in the clear now. No need for us to be skulking about.
So what is it you've been looking for?
I'm looking for a cure to help my twin sister, Anne, so that she can return to Hogwarts. Because Merlin knows everyone else is giving.
Revelio. Why do you think we'll find a cure in the restricted section? Does the Hogwarts matron have nothing that can help Anne?
No, we've tried everyone from Nurse Blaney to St. Mungo's.
But I can research on my own. No need to concern yourself with that right now. Let's focus on what you're after.
Which is what, precisely?
I'll know it when I see it.
You're being awfully cryptic.
Secrets of the darkest arts. I'm impressed.
Revelio. Reparo.
Who have we here? Sebastian Solo and his new little friend. Out exploring where they shouldn't be. Naughty, naughty. You'll get caughty.
Peeves, don't
I'm
you...
going to tell. I'm going to tell. I'm going to tell.
Oh, blasted Peeves! I've got to stop him, or at least get to the librarian with a good excuse for all of this.
Wait, I don't want you getting into trouble for me.
I have a way with the faculty when it comes to disciplinary matters. Besides, I like having friends who are in my debt. Now go. Good luck in your search.
Now, where has that damned poltergeist got to?
I know just the spell to repair this armor. Reparo. Revelio. Of course, traces of ancient magic. There must be more to this room. That's it! Revelio. Where might this lead? Reparo. I need to wake up that rune over there. Not surprising. Guards at the ready. Revelio. Incendio. Levioso. This must be the way forward, but to where? Nearly there. Best keep my wits about me. Levioso! Incendio! Levioso! Levioso! Accio! It is a book after all.
You wanted to see me? Headmistress Fitzgerald, Professor Rackham.
Miss Isadora Morganach, welcome.
Professor Rookwood, Professor McCaw.
We understand that you are adjusting well to life at Hogwarts.
I am.
I am glad. Especially in light of your unusual situation, starting as a fifth year.
As it happens, I was also admitted to Hogwarts as a fifth year. I've never heard of another like us.
Miss Morganach, when we spoke yesterday after class, you asked about the Beautiful swirls you saw years ago when we visited your hamlet.
I recognized you all immediately. I cannot thank you enough for what you did.
We were glad to help.
And yes, I did see swirls of magic everywhere that day. My father insists it was my imagination running wild, but it was certainly real to me.
It was not your imagination.
Percival, Professor Rackham can see them too. But we've never known of another who could.
I don't understand. What are they?
The whispers or traces that appear when a particular form of ancient magic is wielded.
Ancient magic?
Few are capable of wielding it. Hogwarts itself is a stronghold of ancient magic.
So if I can see traces of ancient magic, does that mean I can wield it too?
With the proper training.
But let us not get ahead of ourselves, Miss Morganach.
Before I can train you to wield such magic, you must first master all that Hogwarts has to offer.
A magic this powerful can do great harm in the wrong hands. It must be wielded by a select few. As such, we ask that you not speak to anyone about what we have discussed here today.
Sebastian.
Sneaking in the restricted section again! I had thought we were through with this mischief. Clearly detentions are insufficient. I'm afraid I must take this to the headmaster.
But
That being said, Peeves informs me that you didn't come alone tonight. If someone has coerced you, I would have you tell me. You're a bright boy. Don't waste this.
there was nobody else. I came alone.
Oh, Sebastian. What will your uncle say?
Revelio.
For I can't wait to watch you try.
You cannot be serious. Goblins working with Rookwood? Makes no sense.
It is rather unorthodox, to say the least.
Unorthodox? It's inconceivable. It's... Ah, Fig. You have a visitor. I'll see what I can find out.
Sir, I was able to search the restricted section while you were with Professor Black. It was a book we were after.
What? That's... Wait. You accessed the restricted section? But how? Thinking on it, perhaps it's best you spare me the details.
Fair enough. In fact, the book was below the restricted section as it appeared on the map.
I want to hear everything. First, let's have a look. Oh dear. Some of these pages seem to be missing. It appears someone has got to the book before us. Still, I will need time to study what remains. Perhaps we can still salvage something useful, though it may take some time. I wonder why it was here, below Hogwarts.
I think I know, sir. I saw 2 more memories where I found the book.
Another pensive. Godric's heart.
The man we saw before, Percival Rackham, was a professor here. The first memory showed him and 3 other professors using ancient magic to restore a hamlet from a drought.
Miriam was right. And the second memory?
They were talking to a student who started as a 5th year, like I did. She could see traces of magic too.
Why those memories? Perhaps this book will explain. I'll have to take it with me to London. The headmaster has insisted that I speak directly to the minister about George's death.
I understand. I'll see what I can learn about the missing pages while you're gone.
Good. Don't neglect your studies. Your wand work is improving by the day. But you'll want to pay attention in herbology and potions. There's more to magic than spellcasting.
Plenty to keep me occupied while you're gone.
You've done exceptionally well. I look forward to seeing all that you've accomplished when I return. You may be surprised by how much you can learn from them as well.
Meet me in Lower Hogsfield as soon as possible. I would like to talk to you about Rookwood and Harlow, and it might be best to do so outside of the castle.
Professor Fig and Weasley have asked that I teach you an additional defensive spell. Please complete the assignments I have given you, and then proceed to see me in my classroom.
This cannot possibly be as difficult.
My uncle knows Kagawa, so I can't imagine I won't get good marks.
Handy.
Smell. Is she growing Punja's onion again?
Good morning, Professor Garlick.
How wonderful it is to see you again, Lenora dear.
Oh, here. You'll need these for today's class. A little treat for your auntie.
Ah, hello! Class, please welcome the newest rose in our garden. We do look forward to growing together. How thrilling it is to have everyone back together again. This year will be filled with enchantment and excitement, but the most important thing cultivated in herbology is knowledge. The prudent herbologist is no more afraid of the venomous tentacula than the bouncing bulb. Now then, today we will be acquainting ourselves with the mellifluous tuber known as the mandrake root. Accio. Let's see if we can't make our fibrous friends a bit more comfortable, shall we? First, let's protect our ears. Now, everyone, grip their mandrake by the tendrils and give it a firm tug. Quickly! Place your mandrakes in the new pot and pat down the soil! The soil should envelop the root like a warm, dirty blanket, putting the mandrake right at ease. Reparo! I'm very sorry about that. Yours was a bit mature, I'm afraid. All right then, off you go. Splendid work, everyone! Now, for our next task, we'll be planting dittany at our pot.
I wonder if hippogriffs like knotgrass.
Revelio. Yes, Professor?
Firstly, well done with your mandrake. They can be rather difficult to get a grasp of.
Actually, I enjoyed it. I couldn't help but catch your enthusiasm.
How kind of you. It seems you're already taking to herbology like a mandrake to fresh soil. Now, as I mentioned, next we'll be planting dittany. Let us find you some seeds.
I already have some, Professor. Picked them up in Hogsmeade.
You visited the Magic Neep. Wonderful! A prepared student is bound to bloom. I've arranged for you to have your own potting table here in the classroom. Wasn't easy to spare one on such late notice. Plant the seeds there now, and you can return to harvest them later. Even with soil, sunlight, and a bit of magic, they will take time to grow.
Let's see how to balance my star thistle arrangement. Niffler's fancy or roses?
Entirely unfair that my mother would let me keep a looking.
Dittany's restorative properties make it a vital ingredient in the Wiggenweld potion, as you all should know from Professor Sharp's class. Well done! Once it can be harvested, your dittany will be ready to use in Wiggenweld potion. I'll let Professor Sharp tell you about that. Now, what say we branch out? Introduce you to a different sort of flora, the Chinese chomping cabbage. You'll find that some plants are better suited to uses outside of a cauldron. The cabbages do get testy without something to chew. Fortunately, I have a dummy for them to gnaw on. Be a dear and let them have a good chomping.
Yes, Professor.
They're in the other greenhouse. It's just at the end of the footbridge leading out of this room. Your classmate, Mr. Pruitt, has kindly offered to accompany you. Come back and see me when you're finished. Oh, and mind your fingers. They do bite.
Hello. Saw you on your way to Hogsmeade the other day. Nice to meet you. I'm Leander. Nice work in Defense Against the Dark Arts, by the way.
Excuse me?
Your duel with Sebastian! And he's good. Thinks he's really good. But you outright slaughtered him. It was brilliant. Here we are. Home of the... Go on. Grab a few of those. Now, see that dummy? Just toss the cabbages at it, and they'll do the rest. Look at that! They'll chomp on anything they can get their mouths on. Mum planted some in her garden last year to keep the gnomes out. Did save her the de-gnoming, but they left her honking daffodils in tatters. Vicious little bastards, aren't they? My kind of plants. Not like stupid booba tubers and bouncing bulbs. The kind of plants that just have your back in a fight. Not saying you can't go it alone, but... well, imagine that wasn't a dummy.
Trust me, Leander. I was imagining it the entire time.
You were? I mean, of course, you're, not someone to be trifled with. I see that. Dogweed and deathcap has more of them, if you're keen. Other plants too. Ones your parents wouldn't plant in the garden. You get the idea. Anyway, we, probably ought to head back to class. Take your time. I'll see you back in class.
Revelio.
And with that helpful reminder as to why we should always wear our dragon hide gloves, I shall end our lesson here. Terribly sorry, Mr. Clopton.
I tended to the Chinese chomping cabbages, Professor.
Remarkable plants, aren't they? I hope they weren't too much trouble. Oh, don't see any bite marks or missing digits. And good, as you do seem to be quite green-fingered. Oh, I'm eager to see your skill in the soil continue to blossom.
Magical plants have so much to offer. I'm eager to learn more.
I'm glad. Herbology is a bounteous subject. Tend to your garden, and it will tend to you. Huh. Well, I suppose that's everything. Do come by for a chat sometime. I so enjoy checking in with my new students.
Hope those mandrakes are really relishing their new pots. Only cost me my damned hearing.
Revelio.
You know it does help to look at the thing while
My siblings and I have all...
What am I missing?
Shouldn't there be auras or someone from the Ministry guarding the school after the incident?
Professor Blackwood...
Revelio.
It would make him look completely incompetent, which he is.
Potions is one of the most challenging and hazardous subjects taught at this school. As fifth years, you will be required to reach new heights of both discipline and intellect. You will begin this term by brewing a Wiggenweld potion. Mr. Takar, can you tell us why this particular potion might come in handy?
Yes, Professor Sharp. The Wiggenweld potion can be used to sterilize and even heal a variety of injuries.
It can heal some injuries, but not all. Points for Ravenclaw. Before today's class is completed, each of you will have brewed a Wiggenweld potion of your own. You never know when you might need it. Please begin. Use a strong, even motion when crushing your ingredients. Please be meticulous when adding powder to your potions. One errant sneeze could be disastrous. I see most of you have not forgotten how to stir. Not an easy potion to brew. Well done. And from what I hear of your recent exploits in Hogsmeade, you'd also do well to practice brewing the defensive Edurus potion. Professor Weasley had you acquire the recipe from J. Pippins, correct?
Yes, sir.
Good. For the moment, you can find the ingredients you need in my office. But in the future, you'll be expected to provide your own ingredients. Some can be harvested from the plants you grow in your herbology class, and rarer ones can be purchased. Others, however, may be harder to obtain, and will require you to be a bit more resourceful. Come and see me when you've finished brewing, and we'll see if it was skill or luck the first time around.
My parents considered keeping me home from school this year after the rumors of a goblin rebellion.
Revelio.
Did I hear Professor Sharp say that you have permission to go into his office?
He did say that. He wants me to get more ingredients to brew another potion.
Brilliant! You, my friend, have been presented with an extraordinary opportunity. I'm Gareth, by the way. Gareth Weasley. Bit of a prodigy with potions, if I do say so myself.
Pleasure to meet you. Wait, are you related to Professor Weasley?
She's my aunt. Keeps too close an eye on me for comfort. Ugh. But she can't be everywhere. Listen, anyone with a troll-sized brain can brew an Edurus potion. I'm working on something that's certain to be spectacular. I'm just missing one tiny last ingredient that will add that extra spark.
I suspect that's where I come in.
You're as clever as I'd hoped. I simply need a single Fwooper feather. As you'll already be in Sharp's office with his permission, perhaps you could grab it for me.
I don't know, Gareth. I don't want to get on Sharp's bad side.
You won't. Fwooper feathers aren't that valuable. Sharp won't even miss it.
Very well. I'll bring you a fupa feather.
Brilliant! Wait until you see what I'm brewing. Hurry back to me when you have the feather.
A well-prepared witch or wizard always has a few potions on hand.
Revelio.
Keep your potion stations organized and free of clutter.
Here's the fupa feather you wanted.
Brilliant! Thank you. This is going to take a moment to brew. You should get back to brewing your Endurus potion, and I'll tell you when this concoction's finished.
Proficiency in potions are two things that cannot be rushed. Have patience and be thorough.
Revelio. Accio.
And now we add the mallow sweet, and... That's odd. What's happening? Wait, it's not supposed to... Ah!
Gareth! Not again.
Oh, the smell.
Dragon dung! What happened?
Well done, Gareth.
What now,
Revelio.
Weasley?
Sorry, Professor.
That'll be points from Gryffindor. Again. Mr. Weasley did not do this on his own. His accomplice will answer to me as well.
I brewed an Endurus potion as you asked, Professor.
I'm surprised you had the time. You seemed rather busy helping Mr. Weasley brew chaos.
I'm sorry, Professor. I was merely trying to help a friend.
Taking responsibility for one's actions does go a long way with me. I shall assume that you've learnt a lesson. As for the work you did today at your own cauldron, I will say you've done well. I confess I was skeptical, given the advanced nature of this class and the fact you're a new student.
I'm glad I was able to meet your expectations.
A rare occurrence. And you do well to remember that you're not a potions master quite yet. In addition to having a solid grasp of how to combine various ingredients, you should gain an understanding of the ingredients themselves. Pay particular attention in herbology. The plants you nurture there are often essential to the potions you brew here. Now, I recommend that you find a safe location in which to practice brewing. You cannot leave a hot cauldron simply anywhere. That'll be all. I think each of us has had enough excitement for one day. Class is dismissed.
Revelio.
That's the last time I have a potion idea that I don't write down. Now,
What are you up to now?
Of Angelica or 3?
Revelio.
As a motherborn, I never expected to come face to face with a man eating cabbage. My brother just started at Hogwarts as a Gryffindor. Thought for certain he'd be Slytherin. Cunning as he is.
Revelio.
I suppose I'd be curious about the education potion. What? Not for me, Moon Mind. For a friend of mine. Don't be stupid.
Revelio. 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 I should investigate.
It is good to see you, my friend.
Hello, Natty. How are you? I hope you've recovered from our rather eventful trip to Hogsmeade.
I am well, but I have been worried about you, my friend. With Ranrock and Rookwood and Harlow after you?
I'm all right at the moment.
We did not speak about it at the time, but I am hoping now you might tell me why they were looking for you.
They want something that Professor Fig and I found at Gringotts.
When were you at Gringotts?
Just before we came to Hogwarts. In fact, it's why I was late to the sorting ceremony. A portkey brought us there after the dragon attacked our carriage.
What on earth?
There's one more thing. It's a bit odd, if I'm honest. Professor Fig says I have a rare connection to a powerful form of ancient magic.
Is that the magic you used fighting the trolls in Hogsmeade?
I think so. I'm still learning, but I can see traces of it, and I've cast magic I can't otherwise explain. I know that's a lot to absorb.
It is. And I will have more questions. For now, it is safe to say that Rookwood and Harlow are a threat to both of us, to all of us, which is why I wanted to speak to you. I realized something that day in Hogsmeade. You displayed such courage fighting that troll, and Serona wasn't intimidated one bit by Rookwood and Harlow. Both of you have inspired me to take a stand of my own.
What sort of stand?
Men like Rookwood and Harlow are the reason my mother and I left Mattibilliland. I am not going to sit by and watch them destroy my new home.
Good. Rookwood and Harlow are a dangerous pair. And the fact that they're working with Ranrock, well...
All the more reason they must be stopped. Rumor has it that Theophilus Harlow runs Rookwood's day-to-day operations. Taking him down would cripple Rookwood's entire enterprise.
That may be true, but shouldn't Officer Singer handle someone like Harlow?
I spoke with her. She was polite, but perhaps understandably would not discuss details with a student. I overheard some of Rookwood's lot talking about a massive poaching operation that Harlow is planning. I was thinking that we could investigate a bit, try to get the evidence that Officer Singer needs.
All right, but how?
I am going to watch and listen, find out precisely what Harlow is up to. I shall reach out when I know more. In the meantime, remember, I am here if you need me.
Thank you, Natty.
Be on your guard.
Off on another adventure, are we?
Beg your pardon! How dare you threaten me?
What's going on here? Revelio.
I never thought Ramrock's would go this far.
Not sure how I'd fare in it. Revelio.
But Mummy...
Archie, I don't have time to argue. I've told you repeatedly not to stray far from home. Especially when I'm inside with your little sister.
But you should see them, Mummy. They're beautiful. These horses...
Revelio.
Oh, that's enough. I'm too tired for your stories today. You stay right here where I can see you. Now, why don't you do some more drawings for me? Hmm?
Very well, Mummy.
Accio. Revelio.
never thought Ramrock's loyalists would go this far. They must have come this way. Think!
I've no idea who it is you think I might have seen. I've been busy with my research. I do not have time to...
Victor Rookwood don't give a doxy's nip back your time. Oi! Speak of the devil. Mr. Rookwood would like a word with you.
A student? You can't be...
Enough out of you.
Leave her alone.
Stupefy!
Perfect. Target practice. Accio. Levioso. Incendio.
You will pay for that.
I'll watch the light go out of your eyes.
Ha ha! Tiger, expulse! We can hold them off!
I'm not going anywhere with you.
You'll take this student over my dead body!
Ha! You're easier to spot than an irrumpent. Release me! Not today!
How is...
Accio.
Pay for your... Stop that!
What on earth just happened? I've never been accosted in such a manner, and so close to Hogwarts.
Are you all right?
I am, thanks in no small part to your excellent defensive skills. Care to tell me why 2 Ashwinders were ready to dispatch me to get to you?
Ashwinders?
Victor Rookwood's thieves and extortionists, his little cronies. They seemed quite keen on you.
It's a long story, but thank you for your help.
Well, you've avoided them for the moment. Priya warned me things were getting dangerous. Best get moving on my research before they return.
You're a researcher?
Nora Treadwell at your service, historian and archaeologist specializing in Merlin's work and life.
Merlin? Of the legend of King Arthur?
The very same. Merlin attended Hogwarts, you know, and I'm studying some curious fixtures he left here centuries ago.
Fixtures?
These vine-covered pillars, dozens of them, all around the area. I've taken to calling them the Trials of Merlin. I believe he created them as a diversion for his fellow Slytherins. He was terribly fond of puzzles and enigmas.
I can see why you're so interested in Merlin. I'd be keen to know more about the trials.
Well then, I'll let you in on a little secret. No one has yet managed to figure out how they work. But I believe I have just unlocked a crucial clue. I suspect that Mallowsweet is an important component in getting the trials to work.
Mallowsweet?
Versatile herb. Merlin repeatedly mentioned it in his writings. I had just arrived to test my theory when I was so rudely interrupted. You see, each swirl in Merlin's writing has a symbol in the centre. That started me thinking, what if...
The Mallowsweet is meant to be placed at the centre of the symbols.
Precisely. Would you care to do the honours? We can see what comes of our little hypothesis. I brought a trunk chock full of Mallowsweet with me. It's just over there by my tent.
This trunk?
Yes, take plenty, even if you already have some.
I have the Mallowsweet.
Lovely. Now, notice the vines
Revelio.
on these pillars here, as well as a stone swell on the ground. Each trial has these features. Place the Mallowsweet on the swell, and we'll see what happens. My word! see that? The vines disappeared.
What should I do now?
This is uncharted territory. I am curious about these pyres.
Revelio. Incendio.
Merlin's beard!
The flames make the pyre sink.
Curious. The pyres are back where they started.
Revelio. Incendio. Here.
Merlin's beard! How beautiful! What a day! I can hardly believe it.
Revelio. I take it we can call that a success?
We can indeed. However, I now have even more questions. How does it work? I must review my notes. I may have missed something.
Are all of the trials like this one?
Oh, not precisely. Well, I think each has those telltale vines and the swirl on the ground. You should feel free to solve them as you come across them. I believe I have what I need to continue my research. My guess is that each will also require mallow sweet, which you can find in Hogsmeade should you need more. I really must be off. Such a pleasure to meet you. And do be careful out here. Now I've got what I needed. I shall return to the safety of my notes and books.
Revelio.
A portrait in our common room wants to talk to you. It's Eldritch Diggory. He used to be the Minister for Magic, I think.
Excuse me. I'd like to speak to you.
You wanted to see me, sir?
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself. So few students know who I am these days. Eldritch Diggory, former Minister for Magic and founder of the Aura recruitment program at your service. I believe you can help solve a decades-old murder, thanks to that book you found, and, in particular, its missing pages.
How do you know about the book and the pages?
We portraits hear more than you might suspect, and most of us can keep a secret. So, what say you? Surely a Hufflepuff such as yourself would be inclined to help seek long overdue justice.
I'll do whatever I can.
Wonderful. I am pleased to have been right about you. My great-niece, Helen Thistlewood, can provide you with details. She's retired now, but was a skilled aura in her day. And the unsolved murder of which I speak was her case. I often visit my portrait in her home, in the nearby hamlet of Upper Hogsfield. Shall I tell her to expect you?
I shall go and see her right away.
Brilliant. With what I suspect is your knack for hard work and her keen mind, both mysteries may be solved sooner than you think. I shall see you there, soon I hope.
Revelio. Who lived here, I wonder? Revelio.
Fire is the best way to protect yourself.
Revelio. Sometimes it seems all roads lead to Hogsmeade. Revelio.
Shootings? Come on inside. Oh, watch yourself, though. Let's have you leave here alive.
Incendio. Revelio. Levioso. Incendio. Levioso. Levioso. Accio. Levioso. Protego. Levioso. Incendio. Incendio. 8 legs is simply too many. Could it be a Merlin trial? Incendio! Incendio! Levioso! Accio! Abandoned long ago, no doubt. This must be the place Minister Diggory mentioned. Helen lives around here somewhere.
Ah, here you are. I'm pleased to see you took my advice.
Revelio. Madam Thistlewood, I met your great-uncle in his portrait in my common room. He sent me to speak to you.
I'm pleased you came. Uncle Eldritch believes the book you found and its missing pages may be relevant to an unsolved case from my time as an Auror.
Very well. I'm listening.
Decades ago, a student named Richard Jackdaw disappeared after going to meet a girl named Anne. They never found his body. When his headless ghost appeared briefly in Hogsmeade, wholly unaware of how he died, Anne was convicted of his murder and sent to Azkaban. It was in large part due to the testimony of a girl called Apollonia Black. Jealous of Anne, I think.
That sounds terrible, but I'm not sure how I can help.
Anne's alibi was somewhat labyrinthine. She said Jackdaw promised her adventure following a map he found on some pages he'd stolen from Peeves.
And you think Peeves ripped those pages from the book I found in the restricted section?
If my great-uncle is to be believed, yes. At least that's what the portraits at Hogwarts suspect. Anne insisted that Jackdaw had asked her to follow the map with him, but only after she solved a series of puzzles he'd prepared. Odd way to woo a girl. She swears she never even solved the first puzzle, so they didn't meet. Jackdaw's ghost vanished almost as soon as he appeared. Without Jackdaw's puzzle, pages, or remains, Anne was sent to Azkaban based solely on Apollonia's spurious testimony.
I don't understand. What can I do to help?
I believe Anne may have solved the first puzzle by now, but after spending time in Azkaban, she's a shadow of her former self. She won't speak to anyone she doesn't trust, and she trusts no one. If you, a student with a connection to the pages, like Jackdaw had, spoke to Anne, she might reveal new information.
What a horrible story. If you think I can help, I'll come with you.
This is wonderful news. You are to be commended for your kindness and bravery. Fortunately, being a retired Auror has its benefits. We can apparate right to her. I've escorted ministers, professors, and many others to that blasted place. Never a student, I'll admit, but I will keep you safe.
Very well. Let's go.
Steady yourself. We'll apparate together. Don't worry, I've never splinched anyone.
Do take care now, and tread lightly in that horrible place.
We'll be there in but a moment. That ought to keep them at bay for now. Though, Be aware, you may feel a wave of despair. It will pass.
Thank you for the warning.
This really is a dismal place, but we'll be out of here soon enough. Now follow me. The Dementors won't harm us now. Still, be careful.
I never thought I'd see the inside of Azkaban for myself.
Nasty Dementors. Not even I could convince the Ministry to send them off. There's no need for such monsters.
Careful around, Anne. She's been here a lot longer than the rest of us.
If I had my wand, I'd cast Crucio on the lot of you!
You don't scare me, young cur. They teach you so little of what you should know at Hogwarts.
That witch you're with has a dark cloud over her. I can feel it.
What is that I hear? Perhaps death, in all its mercy, approaches.
No one at school's going to believe this.
Now remember, Anne has been here a long time. The Dementors aren't kind. Have patience and speak to her quietly and respectfully.
Are you Anne?
Who's there? Who speaks to me? Is that death finally come for me?
I'm a student from Hogwarts. I found the book that you said would exonerate you.
Ah, the book, the book. No one would look. None of the mages found the pages. Methinks the feckless knave meandered to his cave. My fate was surely sealed in Upper Hoggyfield.
What are you trying to say? That the missing pages are in a cave near Upper Hogsfield?
Field, ruins house, a vault concealed.
A vault in some ruins near Upper Hogsfield. I suppose it can't hurt to look.
Can't hurt to look, can't hurt to look. Go find the pages from your book. Helen, know you're here. Come in closer, be a dear.
What is it, Anne?
You're hurt.
Go. The cave. You're safe now. You have what you need. I'll be all right once I get...
But Madam Thistlewood, All right. I'll find it. I'll find Jackdaw's cave. Seems a pleasant enough little place. Revelio. This looks intriguing.
Bardo Beaumont should have returned by now. Had by dark wizards, he was.
Chores aren't so bad. I don't mind the old one without magic.
Revelio. Protego! It's like a place right out of a storybook. Accio! Protego! These rocks have seen better days. This must be the place Anne told me about. No one's been here for ages. Revelio. Incendio. Accio. Accio. No, that's not it. Accio. Revelio. Accio. It's no wonder Anne never found that clue. Incendio. Revelio. Accio. I see how this goes. Revelio. Accio. You couldn't outwit me, Jackdaw. Now, where's the clue you left behind? A note from Jackdaw. Anne never found it. So how did he die? Was she to blame at all?
Could it be? Has someone solved my puzzle after all these years? Well done indeed. Richard Jackdaw, at your service.
The Richard Jackdaw? I heard you disappeared years ago. You have some explaining to do.
I do? That was my puzzle you solved. What are you doing here?
A retired aura, Helen Thistlewood, told me about a map you stole from Peeves, and then Anne told me about a cave.
You saw Anne? Broke my heart. I had to go on without her. Probably best for her in the end. Dare I ask? How is she?
She was imprisoned in Azkaban for your murder. I fear the Dementors have taken an irreversible toll on her.
What? Azkaban? Oh, poor Anne. I had no idea. I thought she'd written me off. I've been traveling the world for years to mend my broken heart. I came back here only recently, on a whim. I must speak to the aura you mentioned and see how I can help Anne.
I'm glad to hear it. Before you go, would I still be able to find the pages with the map Helen mentioned?
I'm almost certain I dropped them in the cave the moment I was beheaded. They're bound to be mouldering away with the rest of me. Tell you what, meet me at the edge of the Forbidden Forest, and I'll show you precisely where to find them.
Thank you. I need to find those pages to help a friend.
I shall see you there.
A castle. Must have been quite stately in its time.
Imagine how inconvenient travel was before I invented flu powder.
Levioso! Protego! Levioso! Revelio. I don't think I can do this now. Best to come back. I should come back to this another time. Perhaps I'll come back to this. I don't think I'm ready for this just yet. I should come back to this another time.
I've always said that travel broadens the mind.
Professor, I wondered, did you attend Hogwarts?
I did. I am a proud member of Ravenclaw House. Why do you ask?
I was curious as to how Hogwarts has changed over the years.
I see. Well, the castle itself, as I'm sure you have surmised, is full of surprises. I dare say more than the staircases change around here. As for the students, well, they seem to get more capable every year. Although, we got up to just as much mischief in my day as you seem to now. I used to look the other way at all sorts of roguery when I was head girl. I can tell you, however, that I did once admonish a certain Phineas Nigelus Black for enjoying a sugar quill during a lecture.
I hadn't realized that you and Professor Black were, students here together.
Appearances can be deceiving. You see, I was once wounded by time itself.
Time itself? I never would have imagined such a thing.
Ah, well, it was the risk I took with my prior position. You may or may not have heard that I was an unspeakable at the Ministry for years.
An unspeakable? What does...
As you might suspect, I cannot speak about what we did. Suffice it to say, the job was not without its hazards. Now, I hope I've satisfied your curiosity for the moment.
You have. Thank you for speaking with me, Professor.
Keep up with your wand work. One must always be prepared for mischief, both inside and outside of the castle. I hope you were able to take care of everything I had asked you to do.
Professor, I completed all of your most recent assignments.
Well done. Then you're ready to learn Expelliarmus. Pay close attention. The disarming charm may often be all you need to defeat the most powerful dark witches and wizards you might encounter. Spellcasting requires a focused mind and a steady wand. Good work. The dummy is here if you wish to stay and practice.
Expelliarmus!
You seem to have the right end of the stick, but keep practicing. Expelliarmus may save your life one day.
Lumos. Accio. Levioso. Expelliarmus.
Still at it, I see.
Revelio.
Handy resource indeed, your field guide. I'm most pleased to be included.
Here I am, as good as my word.
We meet again, Richard Jackdaw.
I suppose I shouldn't be surprised to see you. It would take the patience of a Hufflepuff to track down these pages.
Well said. Now where do we go from here?
Follow me. I shall lead you as far as I can, but I fear I may remain a tad reluctant to revisit the scene of my demise. Keep your eyes open for a bird bath. When you find it, say intramuros. I think it's Latin. Or Greek. As you can imagine, I never paid much attention in school. Shall we?
Aside from the bird bath, anything else I should look for?
Indeed. A few landmarks, a stone bridge, a waterfall, and, if I recall, a lake. You'll see.
You've been very helpful. Thank you.
Surprising how much of this is, rather unfortunately, coming back to me. Yes. You know, the closer we get, the more I'm remembering. Probably best I leave you to it. Simply stick to the path and keep a sharp eye out for that bird bath. Adieu.
Revelio.
Is that Latin? Or Greek?
How nice to see you, my young friend.
Nothing to do now but keep going. The waterfall. For a thief, Jackdaw's surprisingly as good as his word. something oddly solemn about this place. Such regal creatures, stags. There it is, just as Jackdaw described. Intramuros. Revelio.
Aren't you a little far from home?
Ranrock knew you'd eventually lead us to whatever it is you're hiding. Attack!
Oh. Ooh, it shouldn't take long.
What are you up to now?
Expelliarmus!
I won't rest until you're dead. I refuse to be defeated.
You won't. An utterly pitiful display.
Accio!
When are you going to
Expelliarmus! Levioso!
Go!
No risk those loyalists will report back to Ranrock now. Let's see where Jackdaw has led me. I wonder how big this place is. I can shoot the symbol, but it doesn't stay lit for long. I need to light all three before they time out on me. Revelio! I need to hurry things up. The runes have reset. Revelio. I need to light all three before they time out on me. Impressive. That must be where all this leads. Someone didn't want casual visitors down here. Revelio! I wonder if any of my spells will help me through this. Lumos. Expelliarmus. Incendio. Expelliarmus. Levioso. Accio. Incendio. Expelliarmus. Levioso. Expelliarmus. Incendio. Levioso. Incendio. Levioso. Expelliarmus. Revelio. Revelio. I'm not gonna touch those. Ugh. Incendio. Expelliarmus. Incendio. Expelliarmus. Incendio. Levioso. Expelliarmus. Levioso. Incendio. Expelliarmus. Incendio. Expelliarmus. Levioso. Incendio. Expelliarmus. Incendio. Expelliarmus. Incendio. Expelliarmus. Incendio. Expelliarmus. Revelio. Expelliarmus. Incendio. Another puzzle. Well, if Jackdaw could solve this, so can I. Expelliarmus. Levioso. Revelio. Perhaps the next symbol is hidden somewhere. Oh, behind the rock. There's the symbol. Perhaps the next symbol is hidden somewhere. Accio. Perhaps the next symbol is hidden somewhere. Remarkable. Revelio. 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 That's odd. I'd have thought Jackdaw would have been interested in this loot, but there's no sign of him. Revelio. It's a good thing Jackdaw didn't fall down there. Accio! Revelio. Accio. Not a headless skeleton in sight. But I'll help myself to this. Revelio. Accio. Expelliarm. Levioso. Incendio. Incendio. Levioso! Expelliarmus! Revelio! Incendio! An untouched chest. Jackdaw wasn't very thorough in his search of this cave. Revelio. There it is. The bridge, it's almost complete. More spiders. These can't be what beheaded Richard Jackdaw. Incendio. Expelliarmus. Incendio. Expelliarmus. Incendio. Protego. Levioso. Incendio. Levioso. Expelliarmus. Incendio. Incendio. Levioso. Expelliarmus. Incendio. Expelliarmus. Incendio. Levioso. Expelliarmus. Levioso. Farewell, monster. I can only imagine how these spiders have multiplied since Jackdaw came this way. Revelio. Revelio. I'm glad Richard Jackdaw left a little something behind for me, but where could he be? I'll need to look around for the symbol. Must be getting closer to Jackdaw's remains and those pages. We meet again, Richard Jackdaw. Thank you for keeping these pages safe all these years. Here it is, the map that brought your doom, Jackdaw. Is there something beyond this room? Levioso! Incendio! Accio! Levioso! Expelliarmus! Expelliarmus ought to disarm you brutes. Expelliarmus! Levioso! Accio! Incendio! Expelliarmus! Levioso! Expelliarmus! Incendio! Levioso! Accio! Expelliarmus! Incendio! Levioso! Expelliarmus! Levioso! Incendio! Expelliarmus! Incendio! Levioso! Oh. Incendio! Expelliarmus! Incendio! Expelliarmus! Expelliarmus! Incendio! What? That's unnerving. What's happening? Revelio! I've seen this before. In Gringotts and the restricted section. Where am I? Oh no! The room's starting to flood. How am I being protected? What sort of magic is this? I can only hope this magic protects me until I'm able to make my way out of here. What is this place?
can it be?
It's you.
Has someone finally found our map chamber?
I recognize you from the Pensives. You're Professor Rackham.
I am indeed. I must confess that I am surprised to see someone so young standing before me.
I'm the same age that you and Isadora Morganach were when you started at Hogwarts.
You've paid attention, and might I presume you share our ability?
To see traces of ancient magic? Yes, sir, I do.
As you have likely realized by now, our ability gives us a unique relationship with all forms of magic. We can access expressions of magic that few others can. Opportunities will arise that allow you to sharpen this rare talent. Do not squander them.
I won't, Professor. Thank you.
We have much to discuss. But first, a map found in a certain book led you here. Place the book on the pedestal.
I don't have the book with me, sir.
That is unfortunate. I'm afraid we must pause our conversation until you return with the book.
Very well. I'll retrieve the book right away.
Good. We shall speak again once the book is in place.
Revelio. I found the pages and the map chamber. Why would I need the book? Revelio.
You can't imagine how inconvenient travel was before I invented blue powder.
Incendio! Expelliarmus! Lumos. I'm back at Hogwarts. I wonder when Professor Fig will be back. I did promise him I wouldn't neglect my studies while he was away. Suppose I have enough to distract myself with till he returns with the book. Revelio.
Away from me! If I could undo all that happened that day, I would! Come now, Annabelle.
Expelliarmus! Revelio.
believe Black is still the headmaster.
Who do you think will fall from their broom first?
Everybody grab a broom, and we shall get started. Mr. Clopton, your attention, please.
Sorry, Madam Kagawa.
Everyone, please welcome a new student to our flying class.
Welcome.
Hello.
The goal of today is to remind all of you how to maneuver on a broomstick safely, as broom flight is, first and foremost, a means of transportation. This, I fear, some of you have forgotten. Diving, rolling, and loop-the-loops will not be taught or in fact tolerated in this class. We'll leave that to professional Quidditch players, like the Toyohashi Tengu. Not a fan, I take it? Now, let's see how well everyone kept up with their practice over the summer holidays. For those who need a refresher, step up to your broom, say up firmly and clearly, then kick your leg over and rest your weight on the seat. Up! Thank you. Now, your turn.
Up!
Up!
Up, you stupid ratty school broom!
Up!
One leg over, so there's a leg on each side. None of that side saddle nonsense. A gust of wind will throw you right off. And if you hear my whistle while you're in flight, ground yourself at once. Good. Now, for your first lesson, fly through each ring in the courtyard. Do take care. The brooms are school property. I want them
I think I'm
returned
getting
in
the
one
hang of
piece.
this. This is brilliant.
Well done. Now that you're acclimatized to your broom, let's see how well you manage with a more advanced exercise, shall we? This next set of rings will take you around the grounds for more of a challenge.
What a view!
Hello! Nice day for a flight!
This is rather fun.
Ah, the old boathouse. Wish you could have experienced crossing the lake as a first year. Whoa, our aquatic resident likes to make an appearance once in a while.
That wasn't too bad.
Oh, well done! Have a moment? I say, I watched you fly through those rings. You seem to handle yourself on that dusty school broom well enough. I'd imagine you're ready for something a bit more challenging. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We haven't properly met. I'm Everett Clopton. Am I right in suspecting that a Hufflepuff like you might be interested in some high-flying fun?
Can't say no to that. What did you have in mind?
A bit of a detour, so to speak. Follow me. The tour is about to begin. Follow closely now. Right now, we're flying over the Transfiguration courtyard. Lovely as ever. Let's hope the headmaster isn't having tea by the window today. Nice to get above it all, isn't it? Ahead of the gardens, the Hufflepuff common room windows just peek out. Bit claustrophobic for my taste.
How is Everett flying so quickly?
Here's something handy to know. Lean forward for a burst of speed. Helpful if you need to escape a tricky situation.
Ha ha! Now that's more like it!
You sure you're not part hippogriff? There's the famous bridge. Think of all the magic holding it up. I mean, look at it. And the owlery. That's a bit of solid architecture, isn't it?
Flying tips and a jaunt around Hogwarts. This is quite the tour, Everett.
That's Kagawa's whistle. This concludes our tour. Best hurry back. Looks like she's already dismissed class. Better hurry and hand in our brooms. Dismount here.
And where have you two been?
Oh, hello, Professor. We were trying to get a bit of extra practice in.
Hefty points will be taken from each of you for not following my instructions. Mr. Clopton, I'm disappointed in you. You're in this class because you're still not showing yourself, or frankly, your broom, the proper respect.
But, Professor...
Enough. Class is finished for the day. As for you, you do well to use better judgment in the future. Chin up. That was some rather good flying.
Sorry about that business with Kagawa, but you have to admit, those views were worth it.
It was worth losing a few house points for that detour.
You seem at home on a broom. Bet if you had a fancy model, you could fly laps around Imelda. She's Kagawa's favorite. I could show her a thing or two if I had my own broom. Hate having to return the school broom after class.
Perhaps I have to purchase a broom then?
If you can, you should. Wish I could. I recommend visiting Albie Weeks at Spintwitches in Hogsmeade. He's always looking to test new models. I'll keep an eye out for you in the sky.